Sis, are you finding that you're super distracted right now? Kind of don't know why, don't really know what to do about it? Well, this video is for you. I want everyone to know that he gave me life, so everything I have is his. Now it's Jesus. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am Robyn, and today we're talking distraction, but more specifically, we're talking about some of those reasons you might be finding yourself super distracted right now. And on top of that, because girl, I ain't just gonna leave you hanging, okay? I'm gonna be sharing with you a few tips on how you can refocus so that you can get right back on track with what it is that God is calling you to do, because we don't have time for distraction. We got goals to chase, we got purpose to fulfill, so we ain't got time for that. So let's get into it. Okay, so I wanna start off by saying that distraction is one of the enemy's greatest strategies. It's one of those strategies that he uses time and time again because it works. As you and I both know, it works. It's so easy to get distracted. But the reality is that the enemy uses distraction because he realizes his other strategies are not working. So where fear used to hold you back before, and it's not holding you back because you've decided to push past it, he'll try to use distraction. When you won't let emotionalism take over and cause your doubt or shame to overtake you so much that you won't move, the enemy will try to distract you. I like to think about it like this. Imagine someone is two people are getting to fight. My analogies, anyway, work with me. So imagine two people are getting into a fight. There's one smaller person and the other person is bigger, stronger in some way. The smaller person is intimidated by this person. So if you know anything about fights, the person that talks the most is the one that usually does not want to fight. And one of the reasons that they talk the most is because they're trying to distract the other person. They're trying to say something that'll discourage the bigger person, the stronger person, from trying to fight them so that they won't have to go through the tough battle, they won't have to lose the fight. It's just like that with the enemy. He knows that the fight is already fixed, that God has already declared victory over the situation. So he does not want you to experience the victory. He does not want to experience the defeat. So he tries to distract you. But here's the benefit of knowing the enemy strategy. You know what to expect. And when you know what to expect, you know how to prepare and you know how to fight. And that's what the enemy hopes that you'll never discover. Because when you're distracted, you miss your cue. So when God says to move, when God says to say, when he says to go, when he says not to do something, he's hoping that you'll be so distracted that you'll miss the cue of God. And since he can't stop you himself, he'll get you to stop yourself. But we're not doing that today, okay? We're discovering distractions. We are looking at our lives and we're gonna be looking at why we're distracted so that we know how to fight this thing. So let's get into some of the reasons you might be distracted right now. So these are in no particular order of hierarchy or anything like that, but the number one reason that you might be distracted right now is likely because you are looking at what someone else is doing. Not gonna lie, this is a hard one. And I think it's so hard because in this day and age of social media where everyone's documenting their lives or sharing their journeys to wherever it is that they're going, it's so hard not to look at someone else's life, not to see what they have or what they're doing, because it's literally in our faces all day long. But the thing about that that's unhealthy is we begin to compare ourselves to the other person, where we're looking at what they have versus what we have, or coveting what they have. Or we end up looking at God's favor over their life versus God's favor on our lives. And that's a very unhealthy place to be, because I think about it like driving a car. You're usually looking in the direction that you're going. When you look to the right for too long or to the left for too long, you veer off into that next person's lane. And the problem with that is that God's favor is in our lane. God's promises for our lives are in our lane. God's provisions for us are in our lane. So sis, if you're finding yourself super distracted right now, it's probably because you're focusing on someone else's life. The second reason that you're probably distracted right now, sis, is because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. And this usually happens after God has given us a directive and we've obeyed and we've walked in it. And it might have been scary at first, but now we're coasting in it. But we haven't stopped to seek God on what to do next. We're in a comfort zone and we don't know what to do next. So we're just doing what we've been doing. And while that's a great strategy, because I truly believe that when you don't know what else to do, you keep doing the last thing God told you to do. But we don't just keep doing that forever. We do stop and we seek the Lord to see what he wants us to do next. That's the only way we're going to keep going forward and propelling and elevating to the next level, because we're asking God what to do next. And we've all heard the saying, an idle mind is the devil's playground, which I feel kind of way about that. But the principle of not knowing what to do just leaves a lot of room for confusion and a lot of room for the enemy to distract you with anything, because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So you're just kind of like, okay, I'll try, maybe this, maybe that. The enemy would love to have a field day with that. You're probably distracted right now, sis, because you don't know what to do. And the third reason that you might be distracted right now is, sis, because you are tired, okay? You are tired. You have been obeying the Lord. You have been walking in all that God has called you to do. You have been living life and caring for family and working and doing all the things, mental health, healing, all the things you've been doing, and you are just flat out tired. And that is okay, sis, but you just have to recognize that that's what is happening. You can be so easily distracted when you're tired because, one, we already talked about what the enemy likes to try to do, but when you're tired, like, your defenses are down. You're not on point the way that you used to be, or that you usually are, is what I mean to say. So that can lead to distraction so very easily. Anything could just take you off track just because you're tired. So sis, you might be distracted because you're super tired. So right about now, you're probably like, okay, sis, fine. You came for us. You told us all the things. What do we do? And I'm so glad you asked, because I'm gonna be sharing with you 3 things that you can do to help refocus. Number 1, go on a fast. Fasting helps to weaken your flesh. When you're distracted, especially when you're comparing yourself to someone else, you start to desire things that are not necessarily spirit-led, but more flesh-led. But when you're fasting, you weaken your flesh and you strengthen your spirit, because you're pouring in the things of God into your soul so that you become more led by the Spirit. Galatians 5:16 says, walk by the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. So sis, go on a fast so that you can get back refocused. The second tip to help you refocus when you find yourself being distracted is to pray. But not just pray any broad prayers. You want to pray about it intentionally. Pray intentional prayers every single day until you see a breakthrough. So you're going to pray about whatever your point of distraction is. And here's the thing, the benefit of doing this is that when we pray intentionally, we know that God hears us. It helps to build our confidence because we know that God hears us. Whatever I'm seeking the Lord for, I know He's going to do something about it because He's God. And because 1 Peter 3:12 says, for the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are attentive to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. So God's ear is open to us. He is looking to hear from us. He is looking to hear from us. And also, 1 John 5:15 says, and if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of Him. So not only does He hear us and is He eager to hear from us, He actually does something about it. Also, when you pray about your distractions intentionally every day, it acts as an anchor point for you, because in order for you to pray about something, you have to think about it. So when you're thinking about it and praying to the Lord about it, you are going to have to take an assessment of where you are. Am I immersed in my distraction right now, or am I doing okay with my distraction? Am I overcoming? So you'll be able to notice where you are, and it helps to, keep you focused in that moment to say, like, okay, I'm distracted. I need to do something different because I see myself being distracted here. So if you find yourself being distracted, sis, pray about it intentionally every single day. And the third tip to help you refocus whenever you find yourself being distracted is to plan ahead. When you plan ahead, it helps to keep you on track and prevents you from veering off track into a next lane or whatever it is, because you know exactly where you're going. You sought the Lord, He gave you clarity, He gave you direction, and now you're moving in that direction. Next time, it won't be as easy for you to be distracted. Next time, you won't be able to be distracted in this way because you have a clear direction on where you're going. Planning ahead might look like scheduling rest days in the midst of a work week or at the end of a work week, but scheduling those rest days frequently so that when you're tired, you're not easily distracted. And Proverbs 4:25 says, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. That right there is a tool in itself. Fixing your eyes on the prize, on what God has called you to do, on God Himself, is going to help to keep you on track. So there you have it. 3 reasons you might be distracted and 3 tips to go along with it to help you refocus, get back on track, and back on the journey to where God has promised to take you. If this video was helpful, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. Share this video with somebody that you know can benefit from it. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that the algorithm continues to circulate it. I would love to know in the comment section down below, are you distracted right now? Like, which one of these do you find yourself being distracted by the most? I'm gonna leave mine down there as well. And until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.